What we're going to look at in this video is the concept of a frequency table and a histogram. And a frequency table is a table that takes a large amount of data and breaks the data down into smaller groups. And a histogram is a graph that represents that frequency table. So let me show you how some common frequency tables look. And we're going to talk about these first two here. For a particular class, we have the number of students here and then the students' grades. A uniform histogram is a histogram where all of the frequencies are about the same. They're the same amount of A's, B's, C's, D's, and F's in a particular class. A symmetric histogram, and a lot of teachers like this shape of histogram to distribute grades. There are not a lot of A's and not a lot of F's. There are more B's and D's, and the C is the most frequent grade. They're the same number of A's and F's, same number of B's and D's. D's, like I said, is the most frequent. It sort of waves up and waves down. That's a symmetric histogram. For a class grade distribution that is skewed to the left, this would be your weed out class. Not very many A's, not very many B's. C's, D's, and F's become more frequent, and the F's are the most frequent grade. So that class would be trouble in terms of grade distributions. Here's the class that's the GPA booster that's skewed to the right. There's a lot of A's, a lot of B's. C's, D's, and F's sort of fall off. That is skewed to the right. That's the class you want to be in for the GPA booster. And the bimodal histogram is the histogram where there are two main groups of grades. They sort of tower above the rest, two main groups of data. In this particular class, there are a lot of B's and C's, not so many A's, D's, and F's. So those are the five shapes of your main histograms that tend to crop up a lot when you make histograms from frequency tables. I want to show you sort of from start to finish how a frequency table works based upon this example. So what we have here are the blood alcohol content levels of 60 students that were rounded up by the police between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. on a Saturday morning. You can see this giant data set does not really mean a whole lot in terms of being able to see trends. So putting a frequency table and a histogram, making one of each, can really make this data sort of come alive where you can see some trends pretty easily. The interval from 0 to 0.08, where people are defined as not intoxicated, there were 26 people in that group. So all of these people up to that little tick mark. 0.08 to 0.16, here's where the intoxicated people go. 0.08, I always put that in the higher interval. Out to 0.15 or 0.16, there were 19, and then each interval down from there. The histogram that corresponds to that looks like this, where your highest group, the biggest tower of students, was 26. Then it started to skew down to the right. It sort of started to fall off to the right with the largest group there. That's sort of the whole process. You won't have to do this. You'll have to know how to read these, but you don't have to know how to create one of these from a data set. I just wanted to show you that from start to finish.